What I found is that I really, all along the way, I had these wonderful people who really believed in me, and I did speak up. When I talk about ESPN, I was hired in 1990. I was first approached in 1987 by ESPN, but I said no because I knew I wasn't ready. I'd only been out of school a few years, and I wanted staying power because, again, I knew that if I messed up, I wasn't going to get a second chance. So I didn't take that job in 1987 because I didn't want to be the answer to a trivia question. What black woman was hired in 1987 and fired in 1988 by ESPN? So I went to a local.
You could hear Alex Trebek.
Oh yes, exactly. I could just see that for $200. So I made sure that I had the experience. I went to Atlanta, Georgia, got some more experience, and then was hired by ESPN. I should have been just happy to be there, and I was only a few months there. I went into, who's a good friend to this day, John A. Walsh, who was the managing editor of SportsCenter. And I walked in and I said, I know there's this opening on this little football show, NFL Primetime. I knew it was a big show. Only had been at ESPN a couple of months. And I walked in there and I said, I would like to do that show. And he's kind of looking at me and almost saying, what's your name again? You know, I was so new, like, who are you? And he said, well, let me think about it. And at the end of the week, he called me back in and he said, I'm going to take you up on your offer. You can be working with the guys on NFL Primetime, because I spoke up. I didn't go sit by my desk in karma, I asked for it.
That's a lesson for everybody.
And don't let me say, I meditate. I believe in karma. You know me. I am all about positivity and all that, but I could not believe that that was said last week by that gentleman in front of a room full of women, no doubt. But I was very grateful that I was taught, and I think it was my athletic background, that I am just confident and know that I have done the work, and that I used to get tickled when news directors would say, you know what, I'll take a chance on you. I'm like, take a chance. I graduated with honors. I worked. But if you think that you're taking a chance because I'm a woman in sports, so be it. I'll take the job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think such a powerful lesson there is you identified something that you wanted. It wasn't just about waiting for someone to tap you on the shoulder. And I think that's so critical in all areas of career advancement, being able to spot something and saying, I want to go after that.
Exactly, and knowing what it is that you want, yes.
Okay, one of the other things that we hear all the time is Robin is an original. I never hear people saying, she's trying to be like her, or she's trying to be like this one.
That's too much work. You know what I mean?
Easier to just be you, right? Yeah. Easier to just be you. And I think one of the defining sort of features of that originality is your willingness to be vulnerable, to be exactly who you are. And one of the earliest memories for me of seeing that vulnerability was watching you on Good Morning America when Hurricane Katrina hit.
Oh, yeah.
And you went home to the Gulf States, and I remember Charlie Gibson was speaking to you via satellite, and he turned to you, and I don't know if you expected it, but he said to you, Robin, have you made contact with your family? And you lost it.
I lost it. It was one of those moments that I made the transition from ESPN to ABC to Good Morning America, and I was doubting myself, as we often do when we venture outside of our comfort zone. Have I made the right choice? I loved sports, and it was a wonderful place. So I had just soon made the transition when Hurricane Katrina came along, and at first we didn't know how bad the storm was. I went down that night. People thought, ABC thought that I was going down to cover the storm. I was going down to find my mama. Okay, and you can give me a ride down on the jet, but I want to find, because I had lost contact with my family. So I searched for them all night long. We set up for our live shot. I was able to find my family, and a police officer was very kind. It was about an hour before we were going to go on live back to the East Coast, and we find the neighborhood, and it's horrible, but the house is standing, and the police officer has a big police light, and we bang on the door, and my sister's inside. She goes, who is it? Who is it? I said, Robin, open the door. And we opened the door, and the light is shining. And she's like, no TV, no TV. You know, she thinks it's like I'm like, yeah, I'm going to bring a camera. And I was more concerned because my nieces were in the house, and they said that sounded like a police officer's knock. And I said, how do you know what a police officer's knock sounds like? All right, okay, so we had some issues going on right there. My mother was in the back of the house, and she was like calling for me, and I just broke down, and I didn't want to leave them. And it was my mom who said, let people know how bad it is here. And I made it back to the location just in time. And as you said, Tory, at first I give the just the news, the facts, like, I arrived and this is what happened and this is the destruction and blah, 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 blah. And then Charlie in my ear, our little IFB, said, when you left here, Robin, you didn't know about your family. Were you able to find them? And the tears started flowing, and I thought, and I told you this, I thought, oh my goodness, I just got fired. There's no crying in network television, you don't cry in TV. And I couldn't help it because I was so overcome with emotion. The sun was coming up. This was my home. This is my home, the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and I knew what it was supposed to look like, and I could see the destruction. And I knew that people were waking up that morning as I had just hours before, not knowing about family and friends. And I knew what that felt like, and I just lost it. And just the opposite happened. People were just really taken by the authenticity of that moment, and they helped rebuild my hometown. And it was just a really turning point professionally and personally.
Absolutely. And we can applaud that. Thank you guys. I know it was the moment people fell in love with you. They knew that you were looking out for them, that you were their friend, that you had their back. Then another moment of incredible vulnerability.
I can't wait for the pictures to come up.
When you chose to share with us breast cancer.
Oh, yeah.
So you shared that, then we cheered you through remission, and then a bone marrow transplant, another setback. And first tell everybody, how's your health today?
I am strong like bull. Boom. Strong like bull. Thank you. No, I am extremely blessed, fortunate. I had great health care, great doctors. I worked really hard, and I am just incredibly, incredibly grateful. I felt the prayers and the outpouring of well wishes, and it really helped. And my recovery is going exceptionally well, and I'm very happy with that.
So are we. So 174 days. You are off air during that time. What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about other people?
Wow, when you think, I can remember when I was very grateful to get through the breast cancer in 2007, 2008, and when I had this very rare occurrence because of the treatment for breast cancer that I received a blood cancer diagnosis of MDS, myelodysplastic syndrome, which is pre-leukemia, and I was just stunned when this happened in 2012 because I thought I had gotten through that battle, and it's very important to fight the battle in front of you, and that's what I did with breast cancer, and unfortunately it caused another condition, but I have no regret for the battle that I fought. So when I was told, I remember the doctor saying to me, I had no idea what a bone marrow transplant was, and he said, you will be out of work approximately 5 to 6 months, and I was just, well, you gotta be kidding me, there's no way I can, I love what I do, and I just couldn't think about being alone and also being in isolation for much of that time because your immune system is so depleted you can't be around anybody else because of the fear of catching something. In fact, when you have the bone marrow transplant, which I did just past my 2-year mark, I'm in essence, I'm a 2-year-old. I'm a 2-year-old sitting here in front of you. I'm a big girl now, but I got little pull-ups on now. I'm out of diapers, I got my little pull-ups. But in essence, my body is like a 2-year-old, and it was very, it was liberating in a lot of ways. It was difficult to be, once I realized that by the grace of God, I'm gonna be okay, and I lost my mother during that time, it was just a horrible, horrible, very difficult time in my life, and everybody's got something, and everybody goes through that. And I realized, Tory, that it wasn't that the loss that I was suffering of my mother, of my health, of so many things, that wasn't the tragedy. It's if I didn't take time to understand the purpose and meaning of what I was going through and why I was going through this time. And I felt that it just, in many, many ways, I am such a stronger, more complete person, and I never would have imagined that something like that taken away from me would make me so much stronger.
Absolutely. And